Have you ever sat on your bed at night, staring at the ceiling, replaying the same awkward conversation in your head for the 47th time? Or maybe you've drafted a text, deleted it, retyped it, deleted it again, and then thought, forget it, I'll just die single. Yeah, welcome to the world of overthinking, the world where your brain acts like Netflix, but instead of movies, it replays your mistakes on repeat. Here's the kicker. Psychologists estimate that 95% of the things we obsessively think about never actually happen. Yet, our brain treats those thoughts like breaking news alerts. So why does this happen? Why do we torture ourselves with loops of what ifs and should haves? And more importantly, how do we break free? Stick around, because in the next few minutes, we're diving deep into the hidden science of overthinking, how it rewires your brain, and proven tools to finally stop it. And trust me, once you understand what's really going on up there, you'll never look at your thoughts the same way again. But first, quick question. How many tabs do you have open on your browser right now? If it's more than 10. Yeah, that's exactly how your brain feels when you're overthinking. So, let's break this monster down. Overthinking isn't just thinking too much. It's actually a neurochemical feedback loop that traps you in your own head. Here's what's happening. When you face uncertainty, your brain's amygdala, the fear center, sounds the alarm. Your prefrontal cortex, the rational part, tries to help by running simulations of what could go wrong. That's useful, until it doesn't stop. It's like your brain installed Windows 95 and forgot the shutdown button. And here's the twist. Every time you obsess over a negative outcome, your brain rewards itself with a hit of dopamine, the same chemical you get from scrolling TikTok or eating pizza. Why? Because your brain thinks it's solving a problem. Except, you're not. You're just worrying. This creates a habit loop. Trigger uncertainty or stress. Behavior overthinking to solve it. Reward temporary relief, a false sense of control. Over time, this loop wires itself into your subconscious. That's why you don't decide to overthink, it just happens automatically. Here's a wild stat. Neuroscientists say the average person has about 60,000 thoughts a day. And guess what? About 80% are negative and 95% are recycled from yesterday. So if you feel stuck in the same mental patterns, it's not just you, it's literally how your brain is programmed. Think of overthinking as mental junk food. It feels satisfying in the moment, but leaves you drained after. Like eating a whole bag of Doritos at 2 a.m. Delicious? Yes. Life-changing? Not really. By the way, raise your hand if you've ever had a fake argument in the shower, where you roast someone with the most savage comeback, but in reality, you just nodded politely in the actual conversation. Yeah, you won that argument. In your head. Congratulations. But here's the serious part. Overthinking isn't harmless. Studies link it to anxiety and depression, sleep problems because your brain doesn't have an off switch, decision paralysis, aka standing in the cereal aisle for 20 minutes debating between Frosted Flakes and Cheerios. More dangerously, overthinking shrinks your problem-solving ability. When you're stuck in loops, your brain's working memory gets clogged, so you literally can't think creatively anymore. It's like trying to run new apps on your phone while 42 apps are open in the background. Good luck with that. Okay, so we know why overthinking happens. Now the million-dollar question. How do you actually stop it? Here's the science-backed toolkit. 1. Name the loop. Psychologists say labeling what's happening reduces its power. Instead of saying, I'm anxious, say, my brain is running an overthinking loop. This creates distance. You are not your thoughts. 2. The 5-second rule. Remember our last video? Count backwards 5, 4, 3, 2, -1 and take action. This hijacks your brain before the loop spirals. 3. Physical pattern interrupt. When you notice spiraling, stand up, stretch, do 10 push-ups, or literally clap your hands. Sounds silly, but it forces your brain to reset focus. 4. Journaling brain dump. Write down exactly what you're worried about for 5 minutes. When it's on paper, your brain no longer needs to hold it hostage. 5. The 10th October 2010 rule. Ask, will this matter in 10 minutes? 10 months? 10 years? Most of the time, the answer is no. Here's the truth. You'll never fully eliminate overthinking. You're human, not a robot. But you can learn to manage it, to catch the loop, break it, and move forward. The hidden science shows that your brain is plastic. It rewires itself based on what you practice. So every time you stop a thought spiral and redirect your focus, you're literally reshaping your brain. That's not just psychology. That's neuroscience. Imagine the version of you who isn't stuck in mental loops. The version who takes action, sleeps better, makes decisions with clarity. That's possible, but it starts with one choice. Don't let your thoughts control you. So here's my challenge. The next time you catch yourself replaying a what-if scenario for the 10th time, hit pause. Use one of these tools. And then tell me in the comments which one worked best for you. And hey, if you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button and join us here at Reality Flux, where every week we explore the science, psychology, and hidden patterns that shape your reality. Because your brain is powerful, and it's time you take back control. Here's the crazy part. Overthinking doesn't mean you're lazy, broken, or bad at making decisions. It means your brain is doing exactly what it was built to do, keep you alive. Picture this. 50,000 years ago, one of our ancestors hears a rustle in the bushes. Option A, he ignores it. A, it's just the wind. Option B, he overthinks it. Could be the wind. Could be a tiger. Could be my weird cousin dragging branches again. Guess who survived long enough to pass down their DNA? Yeah, the overthinker. Our brains evolved to spot threats, play out what-if scenarios, and delay action until things felt safe. Fast forward to today. No tigers, no life or death bushes. But your brain? Still running that same prehistoric software. Only now, instead of, should I run from this tiger? It's, should I reply to this email now or later? What if I say the wrong thing in the meeting? What if I make the wrong career choice and ruin my entire life? Overthinking is your brain treating a text message like a saber-toothed tiger. Here's where the science gets wild. Your brain has two main players when it comes to decision-making. The prefrontal cortex, the rational, logical planner. Think of it as the CEO of you. The amygdala, the fear center. This little almond-shaped part of your brain screams, danger, at anything uncertain. When you start overthinking, your prefrontal cortex tries to weigh pros and cons. But your amygdala? It's like an overcaffeinated intern running into the boardroom yelling, "We're all gonna die if we send that text without an emoji." So instead of action, you get stuck in an endless loop. Idea, fear, delay, regret, repeat. Sound familiar? Yeah. Same. Here's another twist. Overthinking actually gives you a tiny hit of dopamine. Yep, the same brain chemical linked to motivation and pleasure. When you're running through scenarios in your head, your brain thinks it's being productive. It's like, wow, look at us, solving problems. Even though nothing is actually solved. It's like watching YouTube videos on fitness while eating a pizza. Feels like progress. Zero results. Let's make it real. The text message dilemma. You type out a text, then delete it. Retype it. Add a smiley. Remove the smiley. 10 minutes later, you're Googling best flirty text responses that don't sound desperate. Netflix scroll paralysis. You spend 30 minutes scrolling to pick a movie, only to end up rewatching The Office. That's not entertainment, that's Olympic level overthinking. Big life choices: moving to a new city, starting a business, ending a relationship. Instead of choosing, you replay scenarios like a mental Netflix drama, except there's no ending, just cliffhangers. Psychologists call this the paradox of choice. Here's the deal: the more options we have, the more anxious and unsatisfied we become. Example: one type of serial easy choice. 50 types of serial existential crisis in aisle 7. Our brains weren't built for infinite choices. But modern life? Infinite everything. Jobs, partners, shows, TikTok videos. It's no wonder our mental decision-making CPU overheats. Ever notice how overthinking doesn't just waste time, it actually drains your energy? That's because every time you hesitate, your brain burns glucose fuel. Decision fatigue is real. It's why after a long day of small decisions, emails, chores, scrolling, you feel exhausted but didn't actually do anything meaningful. And guess what? That fatigue makes you even more likely to overthink tomorrow. It's a vicious cycle. Here's where it gets serious. Overthinking isn't just annoying. It's linked to anxiety replaying what-ifs that never end, depression obsessing over past mistakes, insomnia lying in bed thinking about whether you locked the door from 3 hours ago. The more you overthink, the more your brain wires itself to keep overthinking. It's like building a superhighway in your brain for worry. You've probably heard people say, just stop overthinking. Yeah, thanks, Karen. Very helpful. Telling your brain to stop overthinking is like telling someone not to think of a pink elephant. What happens? Exactly. Giant pink elephant. The more you fight it, the stronger it gets. Let's laugh at ourselves for a second. If overthinking were an Olympic sport, most of us would be gold medalists. Event 1: overanalyzing texts. Event 2: replaying awkward conversations from 5 years ago. Event 3: imagining worst-case scenarios for things that will never happen. Congratulations, you've won the What-If Olympics. Here's the secret sauce. Overthinking runs on a habit loop. Cue trigger spiral. Example: Cue: boss says, we need to talk. Trigger: fear of failure. Spiral: you spend 3 hours imagining being fired, homeless, and living in a cardboard box with your cat. Your brain literally wires this loop the more you do it. That's why overthinking feels automatic, because it is. Most people try to fight overthinking with logic. Okay, brain, that worst-case scenario is unlikely. Let's move on. But logic is slow. Fear is fast. By the time logic shows up, fear has already thrown a full-blown rave in your head. That's why you can't just think your way out of overthinking. You have to retrain your brain's habits. So here's the turning point. If overthinking is a survival mechanism, if it's hardwired into the brain, and if logic alone can't stop it, then the only way forward is to hack the system itself. Not to fight your brain, but to retrain it. This is where we shift from why overthinking happens to how to break free from it, from awareness to action. All right, so far we've uncovered the science. Overthinking isn't laziness, it's survival mode. It's your brain's fear system hijacking your decision-making, and logic alone isn't enough to stop it. So, now what? Do we just accept it? No way. Because here's the truth. Your brain is plastic. It rewires itself. That means the same mental loops that trapped you can be rewritten. Neuroplasticity isn't some fancy science buzzword. It literally means your brain can change. And overthinking? It's just a habit, one you can unlearn. Step 1. Shrink the decision window. One of the most powerful tools to beat overthinking is shrinking the gap between thought and action. Remember Act 2? The hesitation gap is where fear sneaks in. Solution? Act before fear has a chance to take over. Count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, minus 1, go. Send the text. Make the call. Start the draft. Don't give your brain the luxury of spiraling. It's like ripping off a band-aid, quick, uncomfortable, but freeing. Ask yourself, what's one thing I've been overthinking today that I could just do right now? Step 2. Limit options, the anti-Netflix hack. Remember the serial all paradox? Too many choices equal mental chaos. Hack it. Reduce options. Don't ask, what should I eat today? Decide once. Meal prep. Same breakfast every morning. Steve Jobs wore the same black turtleneck daily for this reason. Don't scroll endlessly for movies. Create a pre-decided watch list. Don't debate workouts. Just commit. At 6 p.m., I walk for 20 minutes. Period. The fewer decisions you need to make, the less fuel your brain wastes. Step 3. The 2-minute reset. When your brain starts spinning, interrupt it with a state change. Because sometimes you can't think your way out of overthinking. You have to move. Take a cold shower. Drop for 10 push-ups. Step outside and take 5 deep breaths. Or my favorite, put on music and dance like an idiot for 2 minutes. It sounds silly, but here's the science. Physical movement forces your brain to shift gears. It signals your nervous system, hey, we're safe, stop spiraling. Step 4. Fact check your fears. Here's a truth bomb. 99% of what you overthink never actually happens. But your brain doesn't know that until you show it proof. So try this. Write down your worry. Example, if I speak up in the meeting, everyone will think I'm dumb. Then ask, okay, how many times has that actually happened before? Chances are 0. Seeing it on paper forces your brain to confront reality instead of living in imagination. Step 5. Reframe questions. Overthinking thrives on bad questions like, what if I fail? What if people judge me? Reframe them into solution-based questions. What's the smallest step I can take right now? What's the best-case scenario here? When you change the question, you change the thought loop. Step 6. Set boundaries on thinking time. Sounds weird, but give yourself permission to overthink. Schedule it. Example, okay brain, 7 o'clock to 7:15 p.m., you can worry about everything. After that, we move on. Research shows this actually reduces anxiety because your brain feels heard without hijacking your entire day. Step 7. Replace rumination with action rituals. Your brain loves rituals. They give it certainty. So instead of spiraling, journal 5 minutes of dumping thoughts on paper. Gratitude list forces focus on positives. Visualization, imagine not the worst case, but the best case. Over time, these rituals rewire your brain's default setting from panic possibility. The identity shift. Here's the deeper piece most people miss. Overthinking isn't just a habit, it's an identity. You start saying, I'm just an overthinker. That's who I am. But that's not true. That's just a story you repeat. If you call yourself an overthinker, your brain will look for evidence to back it up. But if you start saying, I'm a decision maker, I'm someone who acts quickly, guess what? Your brain will look for evidence of that instead. Your identity shapes your habits, and your habits shape your life. Quick laugh. Have you ever lain awake at night replaying that awkward thing you said? In middle school? Like, you're 27 years old, staring at the ceiling like, why did I say you too when the waiter said enjoy your meal? Yeah, that's your brain playing the blooper reel. But newsflash, no one else remembers. They're too busy overthinking their own blooper reels. Here's the kicker. Overthinking isn't something you cure once. It's something you manage. Like brushing your teeth. You don't do it once and say, cool, I'm done forever. You practice. Daily. Shorten the hesitation gap. Limit decisions. Move your body. Fact check your fears. Reframe your questions. Build action rituals. Bit by bit, you train your brain. Here's what I want you to remember. Overthinking is not a life sentence. You are not broken. You're just running old software. And the beautiful thing about the human brain? Software updates are free. Imagine this. What if, instead of worrying about what if, you trusted yourself? What if you started acting faster with courage instead of hesitation? What if one small change today rewrote the story of your entire future? Because here's the truth. The life you want isn't waiting for the perfect decision. It's waiting for the first step. So here's your challenge. Today, catch yourself in one overthinking loop and break it. Send the text. Make the call. Start the thing. And when you do, come back and tell me in the comments what happened. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button for more science-backed hacks to rewire your brain, master your mind, and create the reality you actually want. Because here at Reality Flux, we don't just think about changing our lives. We do it.